Hi, welcome to our next edition of Ask the AD. I'm Frank Allocco here with our athletic director, Joan McDermott. We are in the beautiful women's basketball locker room on a nice summer afternoon. Joan, thanks for joining us today. I know you've been traveling quite a bit. Nice to have you back in the office. Give us some perspective of what your first 90 days in the job have been like here at USF.
Thanks, Frank. It's great to be back. You're right, quite a bit of travel. So, it's hard to believe it's been 90 days. It feels like it's been forever, but in a good way. So as everybody knows, the two biggest things within that first month was hiring our two head coaches. Of course, men's basketball with Coach Golden, and then our men's soccer search. That was a big hire, and you were very involved in that one as well. And we feel like we got a really good one in Coach Leonard Griffin, and we think he has a really bright future. Everyone's super excited. The kids are excited. He got in early enough where he could train with them. So really excited about that as well. The other thing that came to top of mind right away is the chase game, because we had to get that finalized. So between Todd, his staff, myself, we called everywhere. We thought we had an SEC school, but they had another game scheduled they couldn't get out of. So a lot of interest and talk of future years from now. So that was a biggie. I would just say then just getting out and meeting people, trying to connect with our donors, meeting with internal staff. And then lastly, I would say is getting this project here really going, and we've been a part of weekly meetings with that, and okay, when's the real construction going to start? What's happening? And really trying to push that along. You learn a lot along the way because there's a lot of behind the scene things that happen before the really heavy duty work starts. And the last 2 days really, it started. It's very noisy in here. So by the end of the week, we're hoping to have something put together to show everyone what's going on here, and we'll do some kind of walkthrough. So that's what's been going on.
Well, in addition to the head coach hires, we put together assistant coaches too. Not quite a number of assistant coaches have been hired as well. We've really had some great staff members to join us.
Absolutely, and I replaced myself.
That's correct. That's right.
But I just realized.
But you're a former head coach. I think sometimes we forget your wonderful career in administration, that you also were a coach, and I think that speaks volumes about your background and the way you can address problems. As a former volleyball head coach, I know you are certain things you look for in a coach. What one quality would you say that you look for in hiring head coaches?
It's interesting because I can name 10 right now, 5 for sure, but I would put it in what I would call the 3 Ps. And so the 3 Ps are passion, purpose, and people. And so by passion, what I mean is, are they driven? Do they love the sport so that they have that knowledge? They're always trying to learn more. They're just passionate every day about what they do, and it's just a steady passion. Purpose, same thing. Are they intentional about do they have a plan on how they're going to move forward? I'm not going to get into the X's and O's with the coach because, for example, soccer, I love watching soccer, but I don't know the inner workings of the game. But if they have a plan and they believe in it, that is important. And then the last thing is people, because it's all about relationships at the end of the day. And it starts, number 1, with their student athletes. Number 2, then with staff, including myself. For example, Todd, we talk every day. If we don't see each other face to face, we at least are on the phone or we're texting, because it's just important that he and I, both being new in our roles, are on the same page. So again, the 3 Ps.
That's great. Awesome. Joan, you just got back from Orlando at NACDO, the National Association of Collegiate Athletic Directors, and I know there's a lot of things discussed there, so many different things. It's the most exciting time to be a part of the NCAA. Can you highlight some of the key things that were talked about?
Sure. Yeah, it is an exciting time and a little scary with some things going on. So first of all, the gambling issues. So, gambling's being legalized across the country with college sports, and, what does that mean for us and how will that affect us? So the big issue right now, and there's legal issues with it, of course, is should we be doing injury reports every week? Monday, put out an injury report. Well, so-and-so's out, they're out, But if we did that, what would that look like? Do we go into detail, no detail? Do you update it the day of the game? You know, so there's so many things around that. I heard lots of conversation about that. Second, the trial that's going on, you know, with the name, image, and likeness. So a committee of athletic directors was just set up to really talk about and address this. There will be some changes, and we're trying to be on the forefront exactly what that means. We're not going to start paying our student athletes, but should we be maybe building a little more somehow for them? So we'll see what comes out of that. Probably third, one of the most important things I did was I sat in on a session, and this really affects us, of course, and that is, how are the teams ranked? How are they selected for the NCAA tournament and the NIT? So the great part is I was able to get face-to-face meetings after Dan Gavitt, who heads up all men's basketball at the NCAA office. We got to finally visit in person. Met some of the key committee members of the men's basketball committee. Some I knew already, but good to see them again. And just listening to them talk about what that looks like. Well, of course, they talked about the net. We've all heard about that. But what they said was, that's not the end-all be-all. And, you know, really, so what it means is there's some subjectivity in there. But talked about non-conference record and going on the road, where it used to be with RPI, it was you were benefited playing at home. Right. They want to see you challenge yourself. So as we continue to build out our schedules, we'll be looking at some of that. I do expect the women's power ranking, that right now they're still RPI, but they're going to end up tweaking that as well, I think, at some point.
That's great. And Joan, I know you, throughout your career, you've always talked about students being first. Talk to me a little bit. I know they talked about at the conference about the transfer portal that directly affects students, as well as the mental health of students too.
Yes. So this actually came up at our conference office, both those issues. The whole mental health of our student athletes is critically important, and we're all trying to address it because, you know, all young kids, there's a lot of stress on them. Social media, everything that's going on in the world these days for them, it would be tough. So lots of conversations regarding mental health, how we identify it, how do we deal with it, what's our internal policy. So I got some good things regarding that. Lastly, the transfer portal. So really the word that came back was in our meetings was, we all like it, because so now here's the difference. Before, a student athlete had to come ask our permission to be able to transfer. So we released them. Now they come tell us they want to look at transferring. We have 48 hours to get their name out on in this portal. Well, there's probably over 800 Division I men's basketball players in this portal. So that's going to take some working out, but we do feel that's made it easier for all of us. The next question is, should every student athlete have to sit a year? Right now it's football, basketball, and baseball, men and women's basketball, that have to sit a year unless they have a way they can appeal it. And they are letting quite a few appeals go through, by the way. So that is going to be ongoing issues, but we do all feel like it's going in the right direction.
That's great. Joan, coming back and going down to NACTA, you know, you've been at countless conventions over your career, but how special was it to go back now as the athletic director at your alma mater?
I have to tell you, it was really cool. So number one, been very involved in NACTA over the years. I was part of their board of directors, and a month ago, I forgot to tell you guys, I got appointed to the executive committee for Division I AAA. I'm actually taking Scott's spot. But to see everyone and have them be so excited for me, number one, they're like, you're back in the chair, that's great, we're so happy you're there. But then, most importantly, being at USF. They all know I'm a San Francisco girl, my dream has been to come back here. So people all around, NCAA, NACTA, Division I ADs, Division II, are all just thrilled. So that was really fun. And also to have a chance to brag about University of San Francisco and what we've got going here. There's some good hype out there regarding us. Everyone's really excited about what we've got going. That's awesome. That's good to hear. Yeah, the music of construction is kicking in now, so we have the nice symphony in the background that shows the progress that we've made. With the new school year rapidly approaching, what do you think we can expect from some of our programs? What do you expect to make the biggest jumps in the new school year? So you know, I think all our fall sports are going to be better. You know, all of them. We have an incredible coaching staff. You know, you and I have talked about cross country. They've signed some big time kids. They're going to be right back to where our old coach had them. But I think our biggest leap is going to be men's soccer. You know, they were right teetering last year, had a really good team going into the year. They beat UCLA, but then the injuries hit them. So if they can stay healthy with our new coach, I think they're gonna make some huge strides. But women's soccer should be better, volleyball should be better, and you know, the great part, if we can have a great fall season with our sports, that's going to carry over to our winter sports, and then of course to our spring.
Well, it's an exciting time to be here, and I really appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule to visit with us and our fans. And thank you all for joining us, and we look forward to the next edition of Ask the AD. It's Frank Allocco signing off with Joan McDermott, Athletic Director at the University of San Francisco. Thank you.
Thank you.